today I am going to make both of these ornaments. I'm going to show you two different techniques for making a snow globe style ornament. You can see these both have glitter in them that can shake around and move around. This one as well has some white sparkly glitter in it. And so I'm going to show you two different ways, two different techniques using different supplies that you can make a snow globe ornament. I'm going to be showing you how to make a snow globe style ornament using these shaker frames from Stampin' Up. You can see they come on a sheet like this, and it's regular foam adhesive, but it's already in a circle. You can see there's 6 of them, and each one has 6 graduated size frames. I've already used the largest on these 4. And the largest one is about 1 3/4 inches. To make the snow globe portion of our ornament today, we're going to need 4 things. I have my stamped image here that I have made on watercolor paper, and I watercolored it using my aqua painter and some dye inks. And you want to make sure before you do this that it is completely 100% dry. Use your heat gun or let it sit to the side for a little while to dry. Then I have a piece of transparency. I hope you can kind of see that. This is just from my regular office supply store. This is nothing fancy, and it's a pretty lightweight because it's the cheapest one they have. But you could also get the Hero Arts transparencies, and other companies make them as well. And this is cut out with my nestabilities to be the same size as my circle of watercolor paper. And then I also have a little frame that I've cut out, and the outside is the same size as my base circle here, and then the inside is 1 step down in the same package of the circle nestabilities, and that is going to be used to hide the adhesive that's going to hold this all together. And then of course you need some glitter or little tiny seed beads or something like that to be what actually shakes around inside your snow globe. Now that I have assembled all of the things that I need, I have peeled the largest shaker frame, and you can see that's just dimensional foam adhesive that's sticky on both sides and is already cut into the shape of a circle, so it's very convenient. So I've removed this from the backing, and I'm going to take my stamped image here on my watercolor paper. I've made sure that it is completely dry. And I'm just going to center this adhesive frame onto that circle the best that I can. Now my nestabilities don't have a size that matches up exactly with the shaker frame foam adhesive, so I just took one that was a little bit bigger, and I just center the best that I can. Now this is the most important part that I can tell you is do not remove this top adhesive backer. This is not sticky. The kind of wax paper bit is still on there, and you want to keep it on there until the very last minute. Now I'm going to take my glitter, which I keep in this little Tupperware. And this is the diamond glitter from Amuse Studio. It's really nice because it's a mix of really iridescent and kind of opaque white glitter. And you really do not need a lot. Put in less than you think you're going to want. Just take your spoon or your whatever kind of applicator, if your glitter comes in a bottle or anything like that, and just put a little bit just right inside. And I have a really hard time. I always want to put too much, so try not to put too much because you really need less than you think you do. Now we want to go ahead and remove the protector from the adhesive here. So I'm just going to really carefully take that off, and I'm trying not to get any glitter on that adhesive, or at least as little as possible, because I want to make sure that it's good and sticky. And I'm going to take my transparency sheet and do the best that I can to line that up with my base circle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And you just want to press that down all around. And that is going to seal in the glitter. So now you can see, if we shake that all towards the bottom, you can still kind of see his feet, and I think that's probably pretty much the perfect amount of glitter in there, and you can see how it shakes around, but it stays in really securely. Now to hide the foam adhesive on our snow globe, I've taken the back side of my little frame I cut out and just applied a really thin layer of glue all the way around. And I'm going to line that up with the base circle that my stamped image is on. And now you probably can't see it on camera, but I have a little bit of the transparency. I didn't get it lined up quite perfectly. So I can just go in with my small scissors and just trim that off. But mostly, we now have our snow globe element of our ornament all finished. And here you can see I've finished off the ornament by just layering together some various die cuts in coordinating pattern papers, and I punched a hole in the top and put some baker's twine through to hang it. And you can see that glitter can shake around in there. And there's our finished ornament. Now if you don't have the Stampin' Up! Shaker frames, you can make a snow globe ornament using materials that you probably already have on hand or that are more readily available at your local craft store. You can see here I have another stamped and colored image on my watercolor paper, and I've used the bottom portion of the Amuse Studio snow globe die. I didn't use it for the top portion because it's not a complete circle, so it makes cutting out the window a little bit harder. It's not a perfect circle, I should say. Makes cutting out the window a little bit harder. So I've just glued this on so that it'll show on the back and look nice and finished. And then I'm just using my regular standard dimensional foam adhesive. This is kind of the thicker one. I have a couple different thicknesses, and I like to use the thicker one, the thickest one that I have on this project, because it gives more room for that glitter to move around. And you can see they're normally this square size, and I just went through and I cut them in half so that they'll hide under our frame a little bit nicer. And when you're putting them on, you just want to put them close to the edge, and I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but I'm gonna, before I stick it down, I'm really kind of shoving it into the foam of the piece next to it. Because my goal is, I don't care what this top looks like as long as nothing's really sticking off, and if it is I can trim it down. But the goal is for this inside edge here to all be tight together, so there's no spaces in between the adhesives on the inside edge, so that our glitter or whatever you're putting in there won't be able to sneak out. So again, when you take your piece of adhesive, you just want to shove it over and really use the flexibility of that adhesive and just shove it into that foam and then stick it down. And if there's any hanging over the edge on the outside, you can always go in and trim that off. So I'm going to finish up going all the way around the edge with my foam adhesive. So now I have my dimensional adhesive placed all the way around the edge of my circle, and I've gone through on a couple of these and just trimmed the corner down a little bit so it won't stick out. And once I put the whole ornament together, I'll determine whether or not any of the other ones need to be trimmed. And just like in the last technique, I have my piece of transparency that is the same size as my base circle. And I also have a frame that I've cut out from pattern paper that's going to hide that adhesive. And I'll go around and trim any if I need to once I'm finished. And I also have the front portion of the base, which I am going to attach to my frame and then put more dimensional adhesive in between the two base pieces. So the first thing we have to do to put our ornament together is put the glitter inside and attach the transparency. And on this ornament, I'm going to be using this Peridot glitter by Martha Stewart. So I'm just going to shake just a little bit in, and remember, you don't need a lot. In fact, you need less than you think you do. And at this point, we can go ahead and start taking, very carefully, taking the adhesive backing off of the dimensional adhesive. So I have all of the backing pieces off of my dimensional adhesive, and I'm going to take my little transparency circle and just do the best that I can. Remember, it doesn't have to be too perfect. As long as it's covering up all of that adhesive, you can always trim it later on when you're finished. And I'm just going to stick that down. And now, if we've placed our adhesive right, you can see that glitter has plenty of room to shake around. And I have already attached the bottom of my snow globe die here to the back of my frame. And I'm just going to put a couple more dimensional adhesive onto the base of the snow globe here to hold the front and the back together. And now I'm going to apply a little bit of liquid glue. And now I can use the outside circle and also the base of my snow globe to help me line this up. All we need to do is just attach a little hanger at the top of some sort, and we're good to go. And again, here are the two shaker ornaments that I made today using the two different methods. The Stampin' Up! Shaker frames, which are the pre-cut circular dimensional adhesive, and this one using just standard dimensional adhesives pushed together really well so that the glitter can't leak out. So thanks for joining me for today, and I hope you'll join me again tomorrow for day 12. There's only one ornament left in the series, and I hope you'll come back to check it out. Have a great day. Bye-bye.